Hey guys, so welcome to another A Life with Miss video. And today I thought we'd talk about the Game Awards. I watched it with my stream as I do every year. For those that don't know, Game Awards is a show that runs every year. Jeff Keighley puts it on. Fun fact, he's a Canadian, he's from Toronto. The Game Awards, for those that are unfamiliar, not everyone cares about watching stuff like that. So the Game Awards is basically a yearly show that is not how it sounds. It is not just an award show, but it is something that happens at the end of the year where it is awards, but it's also upcoming games, demos that might be available, special guest appearances, and then new trailers for games. So it's like watching a game show with the award show with it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. As those that follow my main channel, we watch them all. You know, I watch easily 10 of those shows every year on my main gaming channel. So I'm a fan of that stuff. I've always enjoyed checking out new games and seeing who wins, what did people like the most, because while I have my opinions, generally there's a huge group of people that are voting for something entirely different, you know? So yeah. So yeah, Jeff Keighley runs the show every year. He's been doing it since 2014. That's when the Game Awards show started. There were things before that, but the Game Awards specifically started in 2014. And it does really good now. Back when the show first started, it would get like 2 million viewers when it would go live on that day, which is damn good for the first year when it ran. But nowadays it gets almost 100. There was one year that got like 103 mil viewers, and that's the year that gets talked about the most. But that was not the average. The average is usually between 50 to 90 mil. But that was a good year. That was a good year, the 100. And I think it's, you know, it does really good. There is rumors of it doing better than movies and stuff. That is half true and half false. You know, yes, there is a big group of us gamers, and now that it's been so mainstream the past, I don't know, I think we're going on probably 20 years now that it's been mainstream. So it's been a while now. And so because of that, it's grown a lot more. And where the false is that while the gaming show is being, you know, gaming is being more recognized, you know, back in the day, you know, it was just a bunch of us nerds, I guess you'll say, sitting in our rooms playing games. Now you got everyone playing games, you know, like, yeah, you shouldn't even be surprised on whatever age group is playing games. I've never been surprised in the older people playing, because older people grew up with games. So that, I know a lot of people seem to be surprised when they see like someone in their 60s or something playing games. And that is the one that has never shocked me, because those are the people that grew up with like Atari and all that shit, right? I come close. I'm not 60, but I grew up with the Sega Mega Master System. So that is a very old console, and my dad bought it for me when it was brand new. So that was my first one. Yeah, my dad had the Atari back then, and I had the Sega Mega Master System, and we had a computer, but the computer back then you didn't use computers for gaming, you used them for learning. They were learning devices, right? So that's what my computer started as, and then I started gaming on it eventually. But yeah, there weren't really any games for it, you know? Yeah, when I got mine, yeah, computers weren't really gaming machines yet at that point. But yeah. So anyway, point being, this show hits big every year. And so this year, the nominees for the Game Awards show was Hollow Knight Silk Song was there, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2, and of course Expedition 33, which is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. People have shortened it now, so if you hear someone say E33, that's what they're talking about, which gets confused with, you guys remember when E3 used to be a thing? Yeah, people seem to confuse E33 with E3 now. I don't think it's much of a spoiler because it's happened already, but spoiler alert, Claire Obscure won. And so Expedition 33 got 13 nominations and they won 9 awards. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So me personally, I thought, and I'll put the names of all the games down here so we can have a brief reminder of what was in the running. My vote was totally Donkey Kong, not gonna lie. I loved Donkey Kong, and it really was the only game in that list that I actively played. I wasn't interested in Expedition 33. I didn't like the character design, and I'm a big character person. If I don't like the characters, then I'm not going to be invested. And yeah, so that's why I didn't really choose that. Hollow Knight, I want to play Silk Song, but I'm still working on the first one. So yeah, so just haven't bought that one yet. And Kingdom Come Deliverance, I have the first one. I haven't played it, so of course I didn't buy the second one yet. And then Death Stranding 2, same thing. Have the first one. Haven't played the second one yet. And yeah, so out of that list, Donkey Kong Bonanza was the only one I bought. And so, of course, for me, it was an easy vote. I was like, well, Donkey Kong, of course. Of course, that's got to be Game of the Year. It's the only game I played. So, nonetheless, Expedition 33 won, and I'm not upset about that. I'm not one of those people that if the game that I wanted didn't win, like, to be fair, I didn't care who won. I'd played one game in the list of 5 that was in the nominees, and yeah, which is very unusual. Usually I have played more than one of the nominee games, and that's what I want to talk about today, is that while I'm glad Expedition 33 won, they clearly deserved it, and I am not one of those people that you must win the game I voted for or you suck. Like, I can respect a game that did good, a game that people seem to love, and it does seem like they deserved some awards. But I'm just gonna be the person that everyone's gonna hate. And I'm gonna say a big reason they won is because look at their competition. You know, like, really, you came in at a great time. I think the Sandbox that does Expedition 33, they came in at a great time because you didn't really have to do super well to win, right? They had an amazing game, so don't get me wrong, their game is great, but they were bound to win. They were up against a bunch of sequel games, which, yeah, they could have won, but let's be real, a lot of the time, sequel games aren't Game of the Year. So really, like, they were all sequels in this list. And the only one that wasn't, but was kinda, was Donkey Kong, but there are multiple Donkey Kong games out there. I was a big fan of Donkey Kong for a couple of reasons. One, for whatever reason, I've never played a Donkey Kong game, so it was the first one that I bought. And I had a blast playing it, played it on stream, and it did remind me that we need to stream it again. But also, you know, even if you take away my experience of it, I do believe the last time people got a Donkey Kong game was a long time ago. So it could have easily been in the running for Game of the Year, honestly. But based on that list, based on what I just said, you know, sequels a lot of the time don't win Game of the Year. And like, you have to do real good on your sequel for that to happen. So they were bound to win. You know, the list was kind of rough, which brings me to probably what I'll name this video, and that is, did we just have a bad year of gaming for 2025? Like, was 2025 bad? Yeah, because I never really thought about it earlier in the year. I've played some great games this year that were new, you know, because I do play a lot of older games. I'm definitely a budget shopper when it comes to games, so I'm picky what I pay full price for, which is why usually I haven't played the whole list of nominees. Usually it's a couple. And yeah, depending on who's in the nominees. Like, if it's a game I really love, I will pay full price. You know, I pay full price for my WoW expansions. I pay full price for Kingdom Hearts games. I used to pay full price for Final Fantasy, but I've kind of like fallen off, I guess. Like, I haven't really been focusing Final Fantasy games since 10. 10 was the last game that I played every single Final Fantasy game on release, basically. Yeah. So I've kind of fallen off the loop with that one. But definitely Kingdom Hearts and WoW. Diablo usually, but I'm not gonna buy their new expansion on launch. Like, D4 I have not been liking, but I do have it. I will putz around in it once in a while. But yeah. So yeah. So point is, you know, grats to Expedition 33. You know, they clearly deserved it. But 13 nominees? Or 13 nominations and 9 awards? Like, did they really belong in all those categories? I guess at the end of the day, they probably did, because who else was in it, right? There just wasn't that much competition, you know? And the only other games other than the Game of the Year nominees was, well, Hades 2 was in a couple of categories. Arc Raiders was in 1 or 2 categories, and they did win an award. I just can't remember what it was. Probably best shooter, you know. And then I guess that brings us to that question. Have there even been, well, Battlefield 6 was pretty good from what I played. I played some of it. But yeah, so that's the thought I was left with at the end of the show. I thought the show was great. There were a lot of great guest stars. And overall, I believe for the general public, people are saying 2025 Game Awards was like the best show of them all. I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. It wasn't horrible, but I wouldn't say it was the best one. I think production-wise, it was great. And there were some great trailers that were shown. There were some great guest appearances. You know, we had Lenny Kravitz show up, and Mila Jovovich. I think that's how you say her name. I used to call her Jovovich. And yeah. And I thought that was amazing because she showed up shortly after a Resident Evil trailer, right? Yeah. I feel like maybe a whole lot of people don't realize that she was in Resident Evil. I feel like she didn't really get the applause that someone who acted in an old school game movie should have gotten, you know? But yeah, she was there. Evanescence was there for musical appearance. I did a BRB at that point because I am not an Evanescence fan, never was, and yeah. So I took my BRB because it's a 4-hour show, right? So it's hard to sneak a BRB, especially when we're watching it live, like we're live and they're live. So, you know, technically we could pause because YouTube has like the back and forth version on the stream, but you know, I try not to. But yeah, and Cody Rhodes made an appearance among others because there was a big Street Fighter thing going on. Am I missing anyone? Was there any other guest stars? That's what's coming to mind right now for me. David Harbour did make an appearance, and yeah, it was for Warhammer, for the new Total War, and yeah, so that, you know, that was the show. Overall performance and the guest stars and the orchestra and all that, I thought was really great. You know, I give it a 10 over 10 on production value and entertaining and getting all the stuff, you know. It's the one show, I'm a big fan of Jeff Keighley because he knows how to put on a show, right? He gets right to the point, trailer after trailer, award after award. There's none of this random skits. There was a little mini skit involving Miss Piggy, but whatever. It was small, it was short, and I can handle those. It's these other shows where they gotta do a skit before every fucking trailer. And then they roll the trailer and then there's like a 10-minute interview. Like, we just want to see the shit, right? We're not here to watch interviews, you know? So that's why I'm a big fan of like all the shows he's done, because he's always gotten straight to the point. And yeah, so there was some new ones that interested me. I thought I'd just kind of mention them in the video. Divinity, you know, I've played the Divinity games, and so there's gonna be a new one done by Larian. They did Baldur's Gate 3, and then the one that was new that interested me the most was the new Star Wars. So it's Fate of the Old Republic. It looked amazing. So I definitely on the wish list, guys. On the wish list, I might actually pay full price for that one. I don't pay full price for a lot of games unless they are absolute favorites of mine. And it's been a while since I played a Star Wars game. The last Star Wars game I played was 10 years ago. It was Battlefront. Which I loved, by the way. They kind of fucked up multiplayer in that game, but I liked, you know, I could play it solo, you know, it was still fine. So I definitely am interested in that one. And then Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis, another game that the last time I played a Tomb Raider game was 2018, and it was Shadow. It was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, so So yeah, I'd definitely check that one out. So yeah, I think that is all I really want to say today in today's video. And yeah, you know how I was like at the beginning of making this channel, I was very set against making any gaming type stuff. And we've done a couple, but we just don't game on this channel, right? I can still talk about games, right? Like, I try my best to keep the channels very much, you know, I already have a channel where we do all our gaming on. So I try to keep this one kind of away from that to give people a reason to watch all my channels, right? So that's why I'm very much, you don't see a whole lot of gaming on here because this isn't a gaming channel. But you guys will get my gaming comments on here, you know, because I like keeping the gaming channel to actual playing games and chilling with people and all that. And then on here is where I discuss a lot of my opinions. And yeah, so I think when it comes to my opinions on certain things with gaming, you will see it on this channel. Yeah, just because this is a channel where you see me, you know, you know. Like, yeah, like on the gaming channel you do too, but it's like a small little box in the corner, and yeah. So this is definitely the channel where we just talk about randomness, right? But let me know if you watched the Game Awards, what'd you think? I will link the stream that I did, and you can feel free to check it out. You know, it was a pretty good show. It was long, as they always are. Those shows are, you know, they're around 3 hours. Yeah. That stream ended up being 4, so it might have went a little longer because there wasn't much extra. I had hopped on 30 minutes before the show started. So if you go watch the VOD, you can easily skip the first 30 minutes, and then you'll see the Game Awards show begin. And yeah, so they must have went an extra 30 minutes because that VOD is 4 hours, and I end right after. Like, yeah, I'm not really much of a putz around person when it comes to, yeah, and I don't play games after. I'm very themed when it comes to the streams. So if I haven't started with a game, there's a high chance a game is not showing up. Yeah. Mainly because I stream on YouTube, so, you know, pictures and, you know, yeah. But there has been a couple of times where I'm like, fuck it, let's game, and then I'll just, like, quickly situate a new YouTube stream. But yeah, anyway, I am rambling now. I'm done. That is all I wanted to say today. So yeah, let me know what you thought of the Game Awards show. Did you like it? Do you think Expedition 33 deserved the win? I think, considering who was in the running, yeah. Yeah, they were all, like, don't get me wrong, they're all great games. But, you know, Expedition 33 was like a new, unique game, right? And you know what to expect with the rest of the nominees, you know? I think definitely it makes more sense for a new game that was had a little more unique style to it and good music, and, you know, the gamers were really invested in. Something like that is bound to win against a sequel, you know? And yeah, I just thought there could have been better. I feel like there had to be better games, you know? It's like I say that, but at the same time, I can't think of any other new games this year. You know, like I think I'd need more than the few seconds I'm thinking about new games right now. I think I'd need to sit down for a few minutes and just kind of think up what other games I was playing or other people were playing this year. Because, because I feel, you know, I get that not everyone can make it into a show like that, but was that really the best ones they could come up with, you know? Like, yeah, I don't know. Nothing against any of them. I like them all, you know. I have all of them in one sense or another, whether it's the first game or, you know, yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I am gonna take off. I gotta go do my workout, get ready for stream, all that fun stuff, and edit this video, of course. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and once again, I'll have the link for the Game Awards show at the end of this video, so you can just click on it and check it out. In case you guys are interested, I started this last year, so this will only be the second year that I've done it, but last year I did something called Mist's Game of the Year. And what it is it's when I grab my all my Steam games and I go through them, and each month I decide which one I like the best, and then I make my own game of the year out of my Steam list. And that will be coming. I would have already had it, but I rely on the Steam replay in order to do that. So, you know, because that's how I know what was done each month. And yeah, so definitely check that out on the channel. It will be sometime this month. It's just I have to wait for the Steam replay to come out before I can even attempt to do the video. But that's something I like to do on the gaming channel, because it's my game of the year, you know, and a lot of the time it's not new, you know. Sometimes it is just a game I really enjoyed, and I like doing it because one, it's unique, because all these, you know, all these shows, they're all brand new games, right? And sometimes there's an old game that maybe you didn't know about, or sometimes there's a new game, but it's so under the radar that they're not part of these shows, right? And yeah, like Vampire Survivors. I don't think Vampire Survivors was ever part of any of these shows, which is really unfortunate. It's a great game. I haven't played it since last year, but I've played it a lot last year, so. But yeah, so that'll be sometime in December. It should be shortly. I usually have that video. I think last year it was around the 22nd or something that I had it up on the channel. So realistically, we should be getting the Steam replay soon. You know, based on that, and then that'll be how I end my gaming year, and yeah. So anyway, I am out of here. Have a great weekend, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.